The Secret Society of Demolition Writers. Stories by Aimee Bender, Benjamin Cheever, Michael Connolly, Sebastian Junger, Elizabeth McCracken, Rosie O'Donnell, Chris Offutt, Mark Parent, Anna Quindlen, John Burnham Schwartz, Alice Sebold, Lauren Slater. Read by Alan Sklar
and Alan Archer.
Copyright 2005 by the authors. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with the authors and with Random House, and was produced in the year 2005 by Tantor Media Incorporated, which holds the copyright thereto. A note from the bleachers. Mark Parent. Every September, thick clouds of blue smoke rise from a lit-up field on the outskirts of a small northeastern Pennsylvania town. I'm told by those who would know that the smoke is most likely the result of a full-impact lateral hit from the back end of a Chevy Impala, Cadillac Fleetwood, Olds Cutlass, or other circa 1970s brick shithouse on wheels, which cracks the block of the intended target, Pontiac Granville, Chevy El Camino, Plymouth Hemi-Cuda, spraying oil all over a manifold that's cooking at a comfortable 500 to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. White clouds indicate a radiator hit, hoses bursting with an explosion of steam that instantly fills the interior of the car and sends the driver scrambling through the side window. Smoke is what we all come here to see. Steep metal bleachers on the south side of the field are filled to capacity with people of all ages chewing fat, dark cubes of fudge and washing them down with gulps of orange soda. We have all paid to see smoke. The local volunteer firemen want smoke as well. Tricked out in enough gear to take down a towering inferno, they sit with bored faces over the wheel wells of their rigs as they wait to shuffle across the field with a water hose toward the gas line rupture and subsequent rash of fire that would make momentary heroes of them. Their girlfriends stroke the backs of their necks as backhoe operators on the other side of the field are at the ready to hoist crumpled cars into the air and haul them away. High up in the announcer's booth, a row of men with their caps drawn low over their eyeglasses sit hunched over microphones, ready to narrate the destruction. This is the GDS Demolition Derby. 5 heats of 10 cars per round. 2 rows of 5 cars lined up on either side of the field, which, after a countdown from 3, commence to smashing the hell out of each other until there is only one left with its motor running. At the end of the night, the winners from each heat drive their nearly decommissioned vehicles into the ring for a final battle. The winner of this round takes the night. He stands on top of his smashed-up car, beats his helmet against the roof, and lets out a victory howl that the crowd in the bleachers echoes back. Then he hops off the car and walks over the muddy field like a stiff-legged rodeo rider to pick up a trophy and a kitty worth around $1,000. Over the years, the ritual of this night has signaled the last gasp of summer for my family. My wife and I cover our kids' ears with headphones to deaden the roar of engines and fill their pockets with candy so they will last the night. We meet up with 2 other families and huddle together with blankets across our laps as we point to the hand-painted taunts on the cars and shout them out to one another. Outlaw Crusher, the Jugulator, Eat Me, Yo Mama. Then the heats begin, and we fall silent to watch the skill and finesse of the drivers, the reckless stupidity, the cheap shots, determination, and even bravery. By the conclusion of the contest, after the roaring engines, flying mud, sparks, fire, and twisting metal have all come to an end, something incredible happens every year. The same guy wins. His name is Pete Hansen. You really need to see a demolition derby from the front row to fully appreciate the impossibility of this. There are simply too many variables in the random, unpredictable chaos of the competition for the same person to win every year. Yet every year, that's exactly what Pete Hansen does. I developed a simmering obsession with the man after I saw his third win. The following year, before his fourth win, I was sure his streak would break, and then watched as he reduced his competitors to smoking heaps of debris. By the fifth year, I knew that if he entered, he would win, decisively. The men in the announcer's booth ran down the roster for the first heat. Pete Hansen's name was called. He rolled unceremoniously into the ring. The flag dropped, and I watched as he systematically tore the insides out of every car within reach of his back bumper. He went on to do the same in the final battle, and own the night. Instead of doubting him or shaking my head with astonishment as I had in previous years, I watched him closely this last time, and I saw the thing that made him unbeatable. In a word, fearlessness. In a sentence, Pete Hansen drives like he's got nothing to lose. I went home that evening thinking about the strength of that mindset, and because of what I do at my desk for hours on end, I thought about what that mindset could do to writing. What would it be like to write like I had nothing to lose? Write like Pete Hansen drives, so to speak. Then one afternoon I asked a friend of mine who is also a writer, "What story would you tell if no one knew it was you?" We grinned deviously at each other, and the secret society of Demolition writers was born. Over the next several months, I went out to other writers whose work I have admired for all variety of reasons, and asked them the same question. What would you write if I could all but guarantee your anonymity? Under the cover of a dark helmet, how hard would you drive? Where would you take it? Released from the constraints of your reputation and the expectations that come with it, how far would you go? Those exact questions are answered 12 different times, 12 different ways, in the 12 different stories that make up the pages of this collection. It's hard to believe this has never been done like this before. Hasn't everything been done before? Anonymous short stories from well-known writers make too much sense not to have been put together in a collection long ago. Nearly everyone who has written more than one book can tell you that there is a great deal of difference between writing with the knowledge of what will happen once the book is published and writing without that knowledge, if for no other reason than the moment you take after the second book to think about choosing a title that will be easy to explain to every other person who asks you on the tour. God help the writer who finds success and can finally buy the lake house, but is conscripted for the remainder of his career by publishers and readers alike to the one mineshaft that hit pay dirt. Wouldn't it be nice if an author like this could somehow chuck everything their reputation stands on in order to see what else might be out there? Wouldn't it be liberating? And in turn, wouldn't that be good for storytelling? While we're at it, wouldn't it be nice if well-known authors had the courage to throw out a totally new story without the support of their celebrity to influence us as we read? If they had a way to let the story stand on its own, told a story for the story's sake, so to speak. In a sense, every first book is written anonymously. The person who writes their first book can't imagine it will eventually be published, much less read by anyone. They take what is just a stack of paper and hand it to their agent, who hands it to a publisher, who finally turns it into a book. And the name printed neatly across the cover doesn't change the fact that they'd written every page anonymously. When I dare to look back through some of my first pages, there, tucked in between passages that scrape mercilessly against my better senses, are occasional flashes of uncalculated, spontaneous freshness, born directly out of the quiet, private room of anonymity. No subsequent book is ever written with the unknowing sparkle of the first. when the writer undertakes the enormous task of laying down 100,000 or so